Let's talk about glycolysis this time. Glycolysis. First of all, the name itself, glyco means sugar. We're talking about what? Glucose. And lysis means to break. So basically what we're doing here is, I'm just gonna write glucose. Glucose, which is a 6-carbon molecule, it gets broken into 2 pyruvates. I'm just gonna write PYR, or pyruvic acid. They mean the same thing. So each pyruvate is 3-carbon molecule here. Okay, and then things happen in between glucose and pyruvate. So this happens in the cytosol in a cell, which is outside, still inside the cell, but then outside of the mitochondria. And after pyruvate is made, then when oxygen is available, it's gonna go into the mitochondria. Okay, so let's look at the glycolysis in more depth. Here we go. Alrighty, first of all, glycolysis is a 10-step process, and it's broken into, it says, energy investment phase, and then the next step is energy payoff phase. Okay, so what it means is that, let's say you wanted to have a business and you want to sell something. In order to sell something, you gotta first buy the product that you're gonna sell, right? So in the beginning, even the whole point of having glycolysis to make ATP, we need to input ATP in the beginning. So you start with glucose. Students who are in AP Bio, you don't really have to memorize all these formulas and all the intermediates. And people in the, taking bio honors, you don't have to know it too. Okay, just know that 2 ATP molecules are needed to initiate this glycolysis. Okay, so you start with glucose, and it's 10-step enzymatic process. You need all the enzymes in between each reactions here. So glucose turns into glucose 6-phosphate, fructose 6-phosphate, and all these enzymes are involved, right? Hexokinase is the enzyme that breaks or puts phosphate group into glucose, making glucose 6-phosphate. Okay. So you need to input 2 ATP in the beginning, and at this stage, you don't have to know the stage name. At this stage, it's gonna break it into 3 carbon base. You see how you got 3 carbons here. So it's G3Ps. And then what will happen next? Let's go to step 6. So this was what? Energy investment phase, because you used up 2 ATP in the beginning. Okay, if we go this slide here, you see, you make, so because there's a 2, because it's same thing. Remember in the earlier example, we made 2 of the same thing. Now everything's got multiplied by 2. Okay, so you make 2 ATP here and then 2 ATP there. So you invested 2 ATP in the beginning, but, so I'm going to put minus because you actually put in, we used it, but we're getting 4 ATP out of it. Okay, so net wise, we're getting 2 ATP. Okay, so if a glucose goes through glycolysis, we're going to phosphorylate 2 ADP into 2 ATP net wise. Okay, so that's that. Not only that, we're gonna reduce NAD plus into NADH. Okay, so these are energy carrying molecules, which will later go into electron transport chain to make more ATP. So let me see what else is there. Oh, making ATP, or actually phosphorylating ATP into ATP using these enzymes here. Okay, so these are what? Let me see. What was the term? Substrate level phosphorylation. Yeah, because ADP and all the P inorganic phosphate were substrates for these enzymes. So let's summarize here. Where does this happen? In the cytosol. And then if you look at the summary here, let me zoom it up a little bit. Know the place. See how it happens. Glycolysis happens in the cytosol. It's still outside of mitochondria. That's only step 1. And then step 2, we're going to talk about next. And then 3 and 4 and so on and so forth. In the beginning, 2 ATP is used. Okay, so glucose. And then 4 ATPs released. And 2 NADH are released. Don't worry about that H+. And then you're going to get 2 pyruvates. Okay, so let's tally this up. So these are the reactants of the glycolysis, if you want to see the whole glycolysis. And these are the products of the glycolysis. Okay? The most important thing is you start with glucose, and we made 2 ATP out of it, and we got 2 pyruvates out of it, and also 2 NADH were reduced from 2 NAD+. Okay, so if you're an AP, I strongly recommend memorize at least the net reaction here of glycolysis. If you're honors, yeah, it's better to memorize what's going on here. Just memorize what's happening in the net, like what the reactants are, what the products are. And then we'll continue on with 2 pyruvates here going into the mitochondria in our next video.